Are you a healer, witch, creative, or magical entrepreneur who's ready to fill your high-ticket one-on-one or group coaching program, and you want a sales page that will do the selling for you? Maybe you're tired of having a calendar full of sales calls and you want a sales page that can clearly articulate your offer and guide interested clients to feel ready to buy without needing to talk to you first. Maybe you already have a sales page and people are clicking on it but not reaching out, and you want to feel clear on what to say and what not to say to turn interested people into actual buyers. Having sales pages for my offers has led to filling a high-ticket group coaching program with 10 clients at $1,000 each while traveling on vacation for 2 weeks and launching using repurposed content. Having 5-figure months from sales into my $5,000 evergreen mastermind with no live launching beyond daily social media content. Signing clients into my $17,000 private mentorship program with no sales calls. When you book my Cosmic Sales Intensive, you'll walk away with a full, clear, compelling sales page for your high-ticket offer that will attract ready-to-buy clients and that you can continue to make sales with for years to come. Clients who have been through this offer have created a sales page that went on to sell out a high-ticket relationship coaching mastermind, had 20 applications within 48 hours of publishing, sold several $15,000 private mentorship packages, and even had a 6-figure launch with the sales page and content strategy we created within just a few weeks. Stop losing people with fluffy language that sounds the same as so many others in your industry, and clearly articulate why your work is worth $5,000 to $10,000 plus, even when you sell things like astrology, human design, breathwork, mindset coaching, or energy work. Book your Cosmic Sales Intensive now at withsarahmac.com or via the link in my description. This is Sarah Mac, and welcome to Creative Magic Club. Together, we'll discover inspirational stories of creative entrepreneurs living out their dreams, doing the work they are most passionate about, and building wealth in magical and fun ways. While building a 6-figure income as a writer and coach, helping other women to launch their dream businesses, I've connected with so many incredible people and seen it proven again and again that you can thrive financially doing whatever it is you are passionate about. I am here to share life-changing strategies for mindset, making money, and reaching more people with your work in a business and life filled with creativity, freedom, and fun. Hi, Sarah Mac here, and welcome to part 2 of Cosmic Clients, my free 3-part training series to fill your high ticket offer with dream clients guided by your astrology chart. So if you didn't already check out part 1, definitely go back and listen to that, where we covered the root of your strategy gap, and you're going to get to discover what's actually holding you back from the clients you deserve according to your astrology chart. I shared the 5 entrepreneur archetypes and the specific strategic barrier standing between each one and a high ticket offer filled with dream clients. Plus, you're going to learn which placements in your astrology chart to look at to understand why selling may have felt so hard and what to do about it. Plus, you're going to learn the specific shift required to become the version of you who signs dream clients consistently. So I'm so excited to dive into part 2, where I'm going to share the cosmic content strategy. This is my simple storytelling framework that works, but only when you use it. So I'm going to break it down and make it so easy for you to implement this 20-minute content creation process that unlocks consistent, sustainable selling. Plus, you're going to learn how to use your astrology to identify your most compatible dream client and to speak directly to them in your content. Plus the 4 core shifts that separate coaches who fill their offers from those who stay stuck, not filling those spots. So if you have been around for a while and you know my work, you know that I preach messaging and mindset go hand in hand. What does that mean? So if our message, if our content isn't landing, or we're not signing clients, we're not getting sales, or if we're holding back from following through on the conversations that lead to clients, For sure, there's a certain mindset at the root of that behavior that needs addressing, which is why we need support systems for both our messaging and our mindset to stay on track to building systems that work for us and actually make money consistently in our business. Here are a few of the mindset shifts that I see most commonly needed to stop sabotaging follow through when I'm helping clients to launch a high ticket offer. So the first shift is really just deciding it is not up to you what people can afford, okay? We touched on this in the last training. People can spend their money on whatever the fuck they want. They can take risks. They can invest in things that they know are going to have an ROI and are going to get their life to a different place, save them time, create transformation. And one of the biggest energy and time wasting leaks I see in entrepreneurs is trying to manage other people's finances in our heads, in our sales process. And that really just pulls you out of your power because you can't make that decision for people. You can't control people as to whether or not they're going to buy your thing. Your job is purely to stay focused on showing the value of your work, and your client's job is to decide. So just let go of that. Let go of any bullshit stories around whether they can or can't afford it. That is up to them to decide. Obviously, you can hold space for that conversation, but don't make it a reason why you are making sales hard for yourself. So the second shift is really deciding to go all in on one high ticket offer. So if you are constantly tempted to create low ticket offers, that's usually a lack of trust in your main offer, and it really divides your energy. So when you're backpedaling or you are suddenly splintering off your strategy and trying to sell another offer before you've successfully sold the high ticket offer that we have designed together, I'm talking to you, my clients, you have to follow through if you want to get to those results. And here's the truth, your offer will not fill if you are not fully behind it. So we're going to go more into this. But we're going to start off with the next shift, which is you have to sell while you still feel wobbly. You know, people think, oh, you have to get confidence first. And many people who work with me or who get my help with the designing an offer, they'll experience that shift where they feel so anchored in their story, so embodied in their wisdom and their truth, and so aligned with their offer that they just feel so confident. But obviously, you know, sales is a process, right? And stepping out and launching it, talking about it consistently, you're going to have wobbles. There's going to be those little gremlins of doubt that creep in before you have that evidence that you can really sell this, that you can really sign the clients that you want, and that it can actually be fun and easy and sustainable. But it's really consistency that creates that confidence, right? Like really committing to that process. So the reframe here is that the work is continuing to talk about your offer even when those doubt gremlins creep up. And obviously, the more support we have to just keep us back on track and not listen to the gremlins, the faster we're going to get to those results. Which brings me to shift number 4, which is really having those clear, energetic boundaries. There is so much freaking noise in entrepreneurship. There's always a free resource or a webinar or a masterclass or another guru to listen to who's like, do it this way, do this strategy. This is the magic pill that's going to work. And what's really important here is you do not actually need more input. And this can be one of the biggest energy leaks, is having a scattered input. You actually need stronger self-trust, really anchoring into yourself, your story, the value that you bring, and the mindset that makes you feel really freaking confident to go out and stand for that in a public and visible way, and to follow through on a simple, clear strategy. The industry, social media, algorithms, everything has changed a lot since I became an entrepreneur. But guess what? My strategies have not. They've worked time and time again, different platforms, different offers, different pivots, different niches, different conversations, different results. Sales is actually really freaking simple when it's anchored in your truth. And that's why I love using astrology. It's really such an amazing way to ground into your truth, into your work, into your offer, into your specific client, and get hyper focused on them and them only, and not all of the other noise out there on the internet. And to really stay focused on impact and your specific strategy. So I'm going to share a process that's going to help you get your content done in just 20 minutes. So there's no freaking excuse for you to not show up and be visible and be the lighthouse to attract more dream clients to your work. And believe me, I get it. Getting started can feel like the hardest part. So really committing to this process and getting in momentum, I promise you it's going to get easier and easier. And I know that the temptation is always there to default to using AI or ChatGPT or Claude or whoever is your robot bestie who seems to be doing all the writing for you. But I promise you that's not going to solve your problem. And it's just going to be a big fat waste of time when you're not really sharing your truth in your own voice and really making those connections that are required for relationships that lead to sales. So one of the major problems that I know is common for most of the clients that I help is not knowing how to create the content that really speaks to your ideal client and really stands out. And you might be wondering, how do I want people to feel when they come across my brand? What kind of hooks are really going to work to stand out to them, to speak to the hearts of the right people? And it's so important to not fall into the noise of tactics and algorithm games, but really to build an intentional content strategy that becomes a lighthouse for your soulmate people and leads to them showing up in your inbox excited to buy from you. So as you know, in my world, we use your astrology to do this. And today we're going to dive into one of my absolute favorite parts of your chart to use to brainstorm content ideas and to know that you are speaking to your person in unique angles that will create instant connection and magnetism to your work over and above the other bajillion mentors and coaches offering similar services out there on the interwebs. So this is your 7th house, also known as your descendant, found directly opposite your rising sign or your ascendant in your astrology chart. And this is one of many parts of your chart that gives us major insights about who your most compatible client is. And I've developed a worksheet just for you to guide you on how to talk to them. So open up the worksheet, which you'll find linked in the description below. Find your rising sign and your 7th house cusp. And you're going to find 2 content prompts. One of them is based on your rising sign and what they see in you that they are attracted to. You really want to lean into this, and this is such a powerful angle to use to brainstorm content topics. So you're going to find an identity statement, which is really going to guide how to show up when you share about your story and work online that instantly gets you recognized by your people. And then you're going to find a content prompt to tap into story angles that really make these parts of your identity obvious in your storytelling and that make you a uniquely perfect fit for your specific client. And then in the next section, when you look at your descendant or your 7th house cusp, this is going to tell us your key soul client lessons, the common issues that they're experiencing, and the main desires that are really driving their behavior, their actions, and their buying decisions. So this is really the profile of your most compatible client. I can't wait to hear the insights that come up and that land for you around this, by the way. And then plus I've created a content prompt on how to really bring these specifics about your dream clients into your content, which is one way I help my clients create what is that top desired result that your offer creates. You'll plug that in there when they are experiencing challenges with, and then you will mention their key lessons and their common issues and how they show up in relation to the desired result of your offer. This is such a power prompt. So now I'm going to share my 20-minute cosmic content process with you. You can use these prompts as a jumping off point, and we're going to get going into that process right now. So I want you to work along with me. So phase 1, this is the pre-work. It's the ideation and brainstorming phase. So take 5 to 10 minutes and jot down 5 to 10 ideas or topics or angles that you can talk about from your own story based on your 7th house prompts. And then we're going to move on to phase 2, which is writing the actual content. So pick one of the topics that you just outlined, whatever you feel most lit up around, or whatever feels like it's flowing the most, or whatever you feel the most resistance around and you really want to get your teeth into. Now set a timer for 15 minutes. And I'm going to share 5 points that is going to tell this story. And my invitation to you is to stay super focused and just write 1 to 2 sentences max for each of the points that I'm going to give you. So, point 1, you're going to tell them about how you used to have the problem that they are now experiencing. 1 to 2 sentences. Point 2, you're going to tell them what changes you made. Point 3, you're now going to tell them what results or outcomes that you have created. Point number 4, now you're going to connect this story of transformation back to how your work helps them to do that. And give them 1 piece of clear value per content. You do not need to write a dissertation. You do not need to deliver a mini training in this 1 piece of content. Just give them 1 powerful takeaway from your story. And then point 5, tell them what action to take to join your offer and work with you. This is your call to action. So once you've done that, you are going to package and publish this piece of content. So the first step is to create the hook. I always like to create my hooks after I've created the content. And for this, I will give you permission to use your robot friends. So when you're done, you can drop your text that you've written in your own voice, in your own words, from the heart, telling your truth. You can now take that text into Claude and ask for some juicy hook options. And then pick a hook or a title or a subject line if you're sending this as an email. And, feel free to brainstorm backwards and forwards until it really lands for you. And then you are going to go ahead and publish this piece of content, whether you want to just share a photo with text in the caption, whether you want to create a short video reel or grab something from your photos and images on your phone, from your daily life with your hook over it and the caption below. Whether you want to pop this text into a carousel, you can drop it into Claude and just create each of the points can be their own slide, or you can get a designer or a VA to do this for you. You can use these points as prompts to go and do a live stream, or you can send it as an email, or you can do all of these things and turn 1 piece of brand storytelling into multiple pieces of content that are very strategically positioned to attract your most compatible client, build trust and connection by letting them get to know you, demonstrate your expertise, your authority, and your embodiment of the result that your offer provides. Plus, it's selling your offer and it's leading them to take a very specific action to actually buy it and work with you. So that's the 20-minute process. If this takes you longer than 20 minutes, just be patient with yourself and practice this process. Train yourself to create content in this way. Be consistent in developing and using this skill. And above all, lead with your story. This is going to help you attract aligned clients. So consistently do this and sell your high ticket offer until it fills. Then you have a proven message and you have content which you can also repurpose and republish whenever you want to create more clients, making your content strategy easier and easier to continue signing 5 to 10,000 plus client contracts. This is the value of developing this skill and really committing to honing it. Your next step is to decide how many times a week you will sit down to create and publish content, schedule it in your calendar, and please, please, please commit to it. And then at the end of your week, look back and review. How much content did you actually create? How many invitations did you share to join your offer? How many sales conversations did you have? How much time did it actually take? What worked? And what data is still inconclusive? How will you tweak, refine, and improve next week? Once you start to intentionally pay attention to developing and closing these gaps and systematically keeping them closed, by which I mean you have built and mastered a sustainable skill set and system for attracting the right clients into your offer, I promise you, you will be making a lot more money. And do you want to know the power tool you have 24/7 access to keep you on track? Yep, it's your astrology chart. So I want to share the story of one client with you who created the best results ever in her business thanks to really grounding into strategy guided by her chart when we worked together for 6 months. This is proof of why astrology is such a power tool to shortcut the mindsets that will stall or sidetrack our follow through on a clear, aligned strategy to making more sales and doing our soul work in a business we love. So Alexa is such a powerhouse. She's an expert in her field, but she was focused on a low ticket membership and one-on-one body work. And she wanted to scale her income, free up more time, and step into her next level calling as an educator and offer higher ticket mentoring packages as an income stream in her business. And even though she was skeptical at first, having a science background, when she really anchored into her chart, she found confidence in a clear message and mentoring offer. Not only did she fill those spots really quickly, but she also took her low ticket membership to the next level of launch success thanks to her newfound confidence in her message, her mission, and her clear content strategy. She stopped second guessing. She stopped undermining forward momentum with mindset resistance about raising her prices and really leading with her expertise. And she began to trust her unique genius and communicate it with power, leading to a huge revenue increase in her business. I have with us Alexa Nieta, and she is a fascia-first movement education and body worker and the founder of Helix Movement, which is a movement style and also a learning platform. She also mentors other movement and manual practitioners to incorporate fascia into their work, offers, and brands. And Alexa is also a previous client of mine, so I know about her and her work intimately. She's a genius. She's amazing. And it's been such a privilege to witness her entrepreneurial journey and really like trailblazing in her industry. So I'm so excited to introduce you to her story.
I think it started first with trusting you, trust that you have built through social media, the messaging, the relatability, where I found myself listening to you, found myself, wow, this is me. I started dabbling and I had no idea of astrology or not much, and got your recommendations, got your reading, which was so eye-opening. And for me, the evidence was experiential. And what it really gave me, it's trusting that path and trusting my intuition in a way more, saying this is what I'm meant to be doing. And that permission of saying I'm meant to be doing this already gave me almost like a float for the moments where the waters were really wobbly, or I didn't know where it's going to go, or shall I do it or not? And it gave me this float that continuously went forward. And that felt so incredibly helpful. And it worked. The evidence was there. I mean, in these 6 months, I had several launches of the membership. I launched a fascia clarity coaching, which filled up immediately. I made way more money than I have ever made before monthly in my business. And weaving back to the money part, I think not knowing your money mindset and the very accessible and natural and holistic way how you teach it, I felt like this basis of the money work guided me through, and you always brought it back into during the mastermind, guided me through to have almost a map that I can refer to and say, this is where I'm at the moment, and this is where I want to go. And it was really helpful. So also for my nervous system, not feeling shame about numbers or numbers of members, numbers of, financial numbers, and seeing them as an evidence point where you are at and where you can move on towards. And it was very successful. Like it worked. The astrology worked. The money mindset worked. But you need a reminder in your mastermind. And I feel like I have this imprint now when this fear is coming up. I still can lean back into this 6 months experience, knowing that this is normal to feel that way. It's common, and there are ways to think differently and to get out of this thinking pattern of these spirals you get into, the journaling prompts you gave us. And I started doing them naturally in my head. So it becomes self-talk to keep you moving. So, which is so helpful. I must say, I feel I've grown so much in those 6 months, and it's because it was so constant. The weekly either Voxer, and then we had the calls. So constantly being in conversation with you and being not afraid to, I was so not afraid to really share with you the shameful, in my head, in my perspective, shameful thoughts and fears, and being met with so much, a big heart and listening ears and understanding, and the ability to help me to reframe this and to put it into perspective it's carrying me still. Like it's unbelievable. And I now remember also how comforted I felt when I was in your mastermind, how you could actually always zoom out and tell me where I am and how it fits into my journey. And it was something I knew, but I couldn't put in words, or I didn't have a concept about. And you helped me with that so much that I even now feel I'm journeying through new iterations, and I feel comforted by you giving this structure and the idea around this is part of your marketing, this is part of your branding, this is part of your business growth. Also working with Sarah, trust your intuition. When you listen to Sarah's story, you know she has gone through a lot. Highly recommend also to read her book, where you learn about her story. And that alone gives you the permission to be totally yourself, working with a coach, a mentor. And I think that prevents you going astray, trying to be someone else or moving with the reflection that others project onto you, but rather going your own path. You also get always a few good nudges, because Sarah has the strong ability to see you and really takes her time to reflect on you, on your path. There is a deep questionnaire at the beginning of your journey, for example, where the questions are so deep, where she begins to understand you, and you're not getting away with bullshit. With, Sarah knows you after a while, and she gently nudges you always back into the right direction, which I've found super, super helpful. I want to say what I've built also within that time, and that I learned also and helped me a lot, is whilst being a part-time solo parent. And that's why I also appreciate your work so much. So I did all this, and I continue doing this. There's more to come. And it's so amazing to do this calmly and safely, and feeling like I'm not chasing the carrot, whilst having time with my son, whilst really enjoying the time and not making him the fifth wheel on the wagon, but actually he's the center and the why of what I'm doing. And having this in both my passion for my work and my son, and obviously my partner, who is half of the way, it's such a gift. So yeah, just wanted to say this.
Thank you. Evidence.
Yeah. So where can people?
It can be done.
It can be done. Yeah. And it can be done slowly too. But it's thoroughly, and it's with heart, and I'm not burned out, and I have time. I learned to hire people with you too, which is fantastic, and not feeling guilty of hiring and outsourcing things. Yeah, I think it's super important, and it doesn't have to be, you don't have to shoot for the star within your 1 year. You can do it slowly and prioritize what's also important in your life, and that feeds your business as well. As much as it does your physical health. I can only recommend working with you. Just evidently, I am in a place where I could not be at without your help. And it doesn't feel like someone pushed into somewhere, or that I feel like I have overdone things or something. It felt really, I'm in the right place now. And I almost feel like I'm sounding really cheesy, because I'm a big believer in your work. And I'm so glad I took the time and energy and investment in working with you, because I feel at home in my business, in my journey. Also, sometimes it gets rocky, and that is part of the journey. But I always can lean back onto this 6 months experience of where I learned so much and became also more of myself. So yeah, that's all I can say.
So here's the part that often people don't talk about, but I know is so deeply felt. Selling higher ticket and significantly raising your prices, it will bring up doubt. you're actually selling to a much smaller percentage of your existing audience. So you might even experience a lot of rejection or a lot of financial objections. And it does require a shift in your identity. It's going to challenge your identity and your self-perceptions if you haven't been selling at these higher price points before. And here's the thing, it might not work perfectly the first time you launch it, or even the second time, or even the third time. But it's the ones who keep going to master the skills that succeed and hit their goals. And if you interpret the discomfort or the lack of immediate results as something is wrong, you'll keep pulling back right when it's about to work, and you will never get there. So the moment it feels uncomfortable, or you want to resist or hide under the duvet instead of show up and be visible with your message and go and pitch to another potential client, that is often the moment you need to stay the most consistent. So that's exactly why I created my group program, the Cosmic Freedom Lab. We don't just fix your strategy, we stabilize your identity, your messaging, and your mindset so you can actually make the moves that lead to high ticket clients and hitting your income goals while loving your life and business in the process, because it's anchored in the unique blueprint of your astrology. So if you want to consistently sell your high ticket offer, focus on this. Stop making it about what other people can afford. Go all in on one offer. Commit until you get the results and enrollment that you want. Keep showing up even when the gremlins are there, even when you feel wobbly, and really protect your energy from the noise. Stop chasing shiny tactics and master those timeless, authentic sales conversations that work because they are rooted in your truth and you feel that in your body. And build belief through action and follow through, not waiting or building an incredibly complicated business, thinking it will grow your income more than just getting good at selling your higher ticket offer. So if you want support applying this to your business and your unique astrology chart, I'll share the link to join the Cosmic Freedom Lab below. And make sure to tune in for the next and final part of the training series, which will be part 3, the Freedom Blueprint, where I'm going to share 5 pillars of a sustainable high-ticket coaching business, and the number one reason most coaches skip the most important one. Plus, I'm going to give you the exact step-by-step daily, weekly, monthly, and quarterly action plan framework, exactly what to focus on and when, and what to do when you're showing up consistently and you're still not making sales, which isn't what you think. So I'm so excited that you're here. Remember to message me your top takeaways, your breakthroughs, and the commitments that you're making as a result of the shifts that you have learned today. Send me a DM on Instagram at SarahMacMagic. I want to hear what landed for you. Thank you so much for being here, and make sure you stay tuned for part 3. Sending you so much love. Bye.